Warning, this podcast is not for the faint of heart.
We keep it real and raw.
And talk about issues that other podcasts wouldn't dare. This is the Truth of the Matter podcast with Dr. Spencer. Step into our world. What do you do if you fall in love with one of your kids' friends who's over 18? How do you handle getting caught in bed with your boss? Why do girls like bad boys? Are you burned out from an unbalanced career and personal life? Are you still working while your kids are telling you how their days went? Our passion is to help people in relationships, anyone you have a connection with in life, neighbors, coworkers, family, spouse, kids, yourself, and helping you achieve the work-life balance. Let's have some fun and let's get educated. This is the Truth of the Matter podcast. And now your host, Dr. Lamarr Renee Spencer.
Well, hello, everyone. You know who it is. Again, it's Dr. Lamarr Renee Spencer, your favorite life alignment strategist and certified life, relationship, and business coach. Yes, I hope everyone out there is having a great morning, afternoon, and evening. And hey, like I say always, thank you so very much for embarking on this journey with me. But today, I want to applaud all the single parents out there. It is by far one of the most, I'm going to say appreciated, because I know I appreciated my mother when she was single, and I appreciate all of you. It is a job where you don't get vacation time, sick time, holiday time, none of that. You are a parent until a higher power throws dirt over you. You are. Parenting does not stop at 18, 19, 25, 27. It really doesn't. I, for one, have to say that even at the age of 45, I still depend on my parents, especially my mother. And the reason why I say that is because she raised a daughter. I'm raising a daughter. So I depend on her. But I also depend, I have to say, on my father as well, because there is a different type of relationship when it comes to daughters and fathers. So I just, I don't want to forget the dads out there too. And like I said, this is about single parents, not single mothers. So all of us need to be applauded. But I got to kind of give you a little background about myself and the reason why I came up with some tools on how to kind of get over the hump of being overwhelmed. And so I was a single parent when my daughter was about 8 weeks old, and I relocated for about an hour and 40 minutes each way to my job. And I know some people may say, well, why would you do that? Well, because at the time, the housing market where I relocated to was less expensive and more affordable for me and also my daughter's father at the time. And so we split up, and so now it was just really on me. So I was in a different state, although I have to say, so if you're in the tri-state area, you could be in a different state, but 5 miles to the next state or even a mile. So if you can, kind of picture that type of relationship. Anyway, I was about an hour away from my mother and stepfather and almost 2 hours away from my father and stepmother. So if you can, like I said, picture that. And my daughter did not sleep. And if she did, I have no idea, because I tell you, until she was probably, I want to say 5 or 6, she had days and nights mixed up, and I was drained. And then on top of that, I was actually started working on my PhD, and I was in the finance department at my company. And on maternity leave, I was promoted. Now, most people would be excited to get promoted, especially on maternity leave, but I was not. I was thankful, but I wasn't happy. And the reason why is because I figured, okay, this is like a new life for me being a parent. And then on top of that, I have more responsibility. But I have to say, my manager at the time was phenomenal. she really worked with me. And so when I say support system, trust me when I say it, you need it. And even daycare. I mean, her daycare was phenomenal. She had great teachers, which we still keep in contact. I mean, you're talking about like the Miss Jens, Miss Amanda's. I mean, all of them were phenomenal. And I couldn't have done it without them. And even I set up like a buddy system where I had other parents where we worked probably about 15 minutes from each other. So whoever got to the daycare first would pick up the kids, because we didn't want to pay that extra fee, because back then it was 25 minutes for every 15 minutes. So you can imagine, I mean, everyone knows daycare is like, I mean, it's worth it, but it is very expensive, especially as it relates to being a single parent. So with that, like I said, my daughter did not sleep. And I know there's times when my mother would say, yeah, she had to sleep. I'm like, no, she really didn't sleep. I said, I swear, it seemed like I blinked and she was like up. And I know some people say, well, sleep when the baby sleeps. But I'm telling you, like, I swear, I'm like, I don't know when this kid is sleeping. It was almost like, forget being nocturnal. She just, to me, did not sleep. And I mean, we were up all night. She didn't cry though. That was the great thing. And she wasn't sick. She just, I guess, was being nosy. And even the pediatrician told me, she's like, oh, just to let you know, your daughter is not like having hearing problems. She's just ignoring you. So even at an early age, she still, was like very much so in tune. But like I said, she wasn't sick and she wasn't a crying kid. She just had bad sleeping habits. And I mean, when I say I took her to the doctor to see if something was wrong, I remember driving 30 minutes away in the pouring rain to get her like a rocker, a bounce. I mean, had it all, 2 and 3 of everything. And it did not matter. I mean, we even had like where it played music, you had the stars. When I say everything, even 2 and 3 different types of mattresses. I mean, it was ridiculous. But that's just the way she was. And she still has bad sleeping habits. So if you hear some booming in the background, that's just her up, of course, late at night. But again, she does not require a lot of sleep. Never have and probably never will. But I want to say that, single parents, you are enough. And I know sometimes people, they'll say you make it seem like it's easy. And often we're struggling. Sometimes we may cry. Sometimes we're upset. We're like angry. All of those things. And the reason why is because we're overwhelmed. It's not that we're angry. We're just overwhelmed. And I know, again, people say, well, you sleep when the baby sleeps, but what if you can't? Sometimes it just doesn't work that way. And I know for me, I did it. It was almost like I felt like I needed to get things done. And that was when the time I did. Like, I never wanted the house to be in a wreck. And especially my father was in the military, so the house always had to be clean. My mother always believed in making sure that the house was clean just in case she got sick if someone came over. And I just kind of, kept that mantra going. So the house was always clean. Our laundry was always done. 2 and 3 outfits were already out for her just in case. And meanwhile, I was a wreck. I mean, and still working. And there were times where, like I said, I worked in finance, and believe me, I had month end, I had contracts that needed to get out. And on top of that, we had to get up at 5 a.m. so that I can drive the hour and 40 minutes to work, and praying that I didn't run into traffic or accident or anything happened. But I will say, on a couple of occasions, the tire blew out, a tractor trailer turned over, something that impeded on my time to get to work and home. I mean, things happen. But again, I know even when I would come home, people always tell me, oh, make sure you have a schedule. And I did. I mean, I had it down to a T, to the point where I would make sure I would clean something every day in the house, like all the bathrooms one day, all the bedrooms another day. And the next day, like, it just kind of started over. And then Sunday would be my day to cook. I would make 3 or 4 meals for the week, so that way during the week I didn't have to worry about what I'm going to make for lunch, what I'm going to make for dinner, like all of that stuff. So it was a well-ran machine, but again, I was stressed out. And I hate to say this, but I'll tell you guys a little secret. I hated when people invited me places because I had to drive. I had to get her ready, get me ready. I mean, it was a hassle, but I was glad that people thought of me. But I hated it because it was like Saturday and Sunday would be my day to kind of chill. Although it wasn't really a chill day, it was kind of like getting prepared for the next week. But I want to say that, again, I know that it seems easier than done. We're smiling, but trust me, to take a shower for 15, 20 minutes was like winning the lottery. And some of you out there who are single parents know exactly what I mean. And on top of that, I didn't even say, when she started, having these play dates, we would get invited and people would come over and I was like a carpool. Who needed that? But hey, again, I had to be like the team player, right? So I did. But again, I want to applaud you guys because, sometimes we want to just hear someone says, you know what, you got it and great job. I know I wanted that. And I know sometimes you want it too, because at 3, 4 in the morning when people are turning over and going to sleep, knocked out, you're up and you could be finishing your job or, your work, or you could be up with the baby. And I know some of you have twins and triplets, so it's probably double or triple the amount of work. But again, great job. So today, I know you're probably asking, she just gave me 10 minutes of some long, drawn-out story. But you know how I am. I got to give you the backstory. And I have to say, I'm saying this because above all this, you're not alone. And yet, even my experience was intimate to me. There is so many other people that are going through the same thing. And there's so many other people who need this. It's almost like giving you a virtual hug, because I can tell you that when I say you're walking out sometime with milk on, or your shirts or whatever your suits, guess what? You're not alone. What you're doing is way above anything I can even imagine. And I say imagine because times are different. It's 14 years. But you're not alone. And you're doing a great job. And so, even with that, you have to know that you can't feel guilty. You can't feel discouraged. None of that. And the reason why is because people will try to come and they will give you all types of advice on what you should do and how you should do it and the order you should do it and when you should do it. So many different things. But you know what? Your choice or however way you're doing things, that's the way you are doing it. And if it works for you, then guess what? Let it work for you. But let me just give you some tips on some of the things that worked for me, because again, I wasn't just overwhelmed. I was angry too. And so even for that, I know, like I said, many of us are stressed out because of all the culmination of things that are going on. And parenting can be pretty isolating. Now, I know some of you may come from big families and have big support systems, but there's people out there who really don't. And I know sometimes when you're feeling isolated, again, you want someone to say, you know what, I got you. But many of us, stress becomes overwhelming. And sometimes even our needs are not being met. And when I say the needs, I'm saying just to even, like I said, take a shower. But let me tell you something, my sister and my virtual brother, I have to tell you, I have to pass the baton to you. Because if I don't, who else is going to receive it? You are. So I am, again, talking to all the single parents, and that means if you're divorced widows, so on and so forth, or even the grandparents that have stepped in to take that parental role. Okay? But aside from that is mental health and the mental health resources. A lot of times people don't talk about that, but it should be something that we all need to talk about because it is essential. It really is. So, what I'm going to tell you today is adjust your expectations. And the reason why I say it is because sometimes we put ourselves on high expectations that we don't realize that, you know what, we can't do it all in one day. As my mother said, Rome wasn't built in one day. And it's okay to let a sock lay on the ground or a plate, stay in the dishwasher in the sink. It's okay. I tried to be superwoman and I couldn't. And you can't do everything all of the time at 100% and be optimal. Now, I know some people may say, yeah, you can do it all and have it all. Not at the same time and not give it all 100%. And so we may think sometimes it's okay if it's okay if I stay at the aptitude I am, but it's not okay. Sometimes you have to lower the bar. We're not all Pinterest moms. We're not vegan moms. We're not always on reality show moms and dads. We're not. So get out of that your mental space where you think that your kids are not going to survive or something is going to falter and something's going to happen, because it's not. And you have to step away. Sometimes you have to take a break. And I know there's times where it seems like there's nowhere to run and nowhere to hide, so to speak. But you need that break. And in the moments where you feel desperate, step away anyway. Please do. Put your kids in a safe place, like their cribs, their rooms. Take a moment wherever you can, even if it's in the bathroom, the front door, in your closet, wherever you need. Go in there and even in the shower, turn on a little soft music, meditate, read a book, even if it's just for a couple of minutes, and give your nervous system some time to reset before returning to the kids. And I have to give my friend Annette Mendez, she said to me, take at least 15-20 minutes out of your day, even toward the end of the day. She said, make sure you put your daughters down. And she said, take a shower, sit on the toilet, do something that doesn't require thought. Because our minds are always racing. And that was some of the best advice that I had gotten. I really appreciate it. And even to this day, I always make sure that I take at least 15 minutes out just for me. And I have to say, it's okay. Like I just talked about my friend Annette. Share your feelings. Sometimes you can't always step away. It's either not a safe place at the time for your kids, or you feel like, they're clingy, or you just can't do it. You know how it is. They get that death grip on your leg where you feel like you just cannot get away. And I know some people may say, well, what do you mean? Well, look, trust me, if you have those type of kids, you know what it means. But you have to share your feelings with other people. I don't care if you just, like I said, I would travel, and as I'm going to the daycare, she and I would kind of talk, bounce ideas off each other to see how we can kind of regroup. And I have to say, I felt better. Even I had friends come over, like my friend Denise at the time came over, and her daughter, and I have to say that was the best 3 weeks that I had. And I was so grateful. I didn't even want to leave. I felt like I was about to hold her hostage. But you have to know that you are a great model for your kids. You really are. But aside from all of this, one thing that helped me is I kept a journal. I had never journaled a day in my life, okay? Never, even in school. But I kept a journal because sometimes the best offense is a great defense. And that means taking time out to kind of get regulated and write down your thoughts and incorporate your thoughts even into a to-do list. often, we're trying to get so many things jam-packed in a day that, like I said, I took 15 minutes out, and that was a part of my to-do list. And I think that will help you also identify parenting triggers and reset, like I said, your nervous system. So try that to-do list. It doesn't have to be grammatically correct. It doesn't have to be in numerical order. You write down the way you will understand and to help you. Okay? We're not like English teachers here or grammar experts or scholars. Write it down the way you feel and it will help you. And one thing I did not do is this. I didn't exercise because I was always at my desk or even at home, right? I would not do it. But one thing I did was, and my house was not huge. It was like 2,600 square feet, 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, right? But it had like 4 levels. So cleaning was my exercise. Now, yes, should I have gone to the gym? Yes, I should have, but I didn't. But I'm going to just suggest to you, whatever your mode of exercise is, try to incorporate that because, even exercise, they say helps to kind of recenter you and kind of relieve the stress. And I kind of believe that is also, it's just that I don't like to give advice when it comes to exercising, things like that, because when I tell you I need help and I need a coach, believe me when I tell you I do. But it's good to keep moving, especially your spine and, like I said, your whole nervous system. So start exercising, because trust me, it helps. And, now I'm putting it out there and I don't like to say something that I wouldn't do myself. So I'm going to start doing it myself. So, yes. But also what I did was, I have to say, and I think this works for people, I actually bought a kitchen timer. Now, of course, it's like, why would you do that, to cook? No, I am not joking. I bought a kitchen timer, and the reason why I did is because every hour I would take a 5-minute, just kind of like breather. Even if it's just to close my eyes, that's what I did. Even if it was at work, I would just kind of take like a 5-minute breather, just to kind of, like I said, take some deep breaths. No matter what you're doing, 5 minutes is not going to like throw you off kill, right? But I did that. And really, there's like a science behind that, the importance of resetting your nervous system. And I know it's like, why do you keep saying that? Because let me tell you something, stress is important and it's something that needs to be looked upon and talked about even more. Because when they say stress kills, it is the truth, okay? Stress kills. So you need to reset your nervous system and really do a brain dump, right? So many times our stress mounts as high as Mount Everest and even higher. And it can be a challenge, trust me, to even say or think, where should we start? But with all those things that fall into our circle of control and those that don't, our brain dump is a way to create awareness around our stress points and also differentiate between those that are in our circle of control and those that are outside of it. So start by writing everything down that is currently mentally, physically, and emotionally bothering you. So again, it goes back to that whole journaling thing. And the activity itself is not meant to be like a burden or take so much of your time. Do it at your own pace. But once you start getting this list together, and it's like a working list, once you start jotting down and you can actually see it, trust me, you will start being more in control and paying more attention to different things that may not have to tasks that may not have to get done today, but maybe need to be put out to another day, or guess what, doesn't even need to be done. It's okay to kind of delegate some of these tasks to other people, because really focus on your circle. And when I say that is, again, delegate tasks and ask for help. People don't always mind helping, but they have to know that you actually need help, because again, sometimes we always make things seem so easy. We're always smiling because God forbid people think that we're stressed out and can't handle certain things. oh my God, we'll feel like a failure. And I'm saying that to be funny because you're not a failure. You have everything in control, but it's okay to delegate. And it's not a sign of weakness. So don't you think that at all, okay? Please do not. But if you grew up in a time where I grew up, right? Everyone had a task, and it's almost like that whole village mentality. Sometimes we have to go back to that, and we also have to find like what brings me joy. What are some of the things that I like to do? What are some of the things that I can use help with? What are some of the things that I want to pass on? What are some things that will give me a break? So ask for help is the power of being lion-hearted. Yes, and it takes courage to stand in your own truth and share it with one another. Because believe me, I know when I needed help, I was just like, when it got to that point where I was like mentally drained, and I was mentally drained, but my mind kept racing. Finally, I was like, look, I need help, okay? If you don't mind, I need you to do this, I need you to do that, and I need you to do this. And guess what? People did not mind helping. And so some of the people may be, like I said, in your circle. Of course, when it comes to dealing with kids, as I am, very, 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 like that whole mama papa bear thing. I mean, I did not even trust anyone with my daughter. Even my parents trust me. And they're like, even my mother had to trust me. Like, hey, didn't I raise you? And I was like, yeah. But it's that whole first mom type of, mentality. But yes, ask family members, ask neighbors, someone in your community that you do not mind, asking. It's like play dates give you a break. Carpooling gives you a break. And the truth be told, we can delegate to our kids too. Even our toddlers can be, of a help, or even our small kids, like, putting away little laundry, folding the clothes. They may not do it perfectly, but who cares? They're helping out. But I have to say, if you're going to start delegating little chores to kids, start at an early age, because once they get like a certain age, you try to say, hey, can you do this, can you do that? Oh, forget it. They'll act like they can't even do it. But if you ask someone to help you now, especially when it comes to kids, you have to, or even adults, you have to be okay with how they do it. Because not everyone do things the same way we do, or even how we think it should be done, even in the order. So again, reach out to people that you can. It is okay. And have that schedule. That's a whole part of that to-do list. When it comes to your kids, have that schedule. Now, of course, I have to say and be honest with myself and to you all, I help people with relationships and work-life balance. Do you know I still have to like balance myself because I take on so many different things, tasks? Absolutely. So even when it comes to your kids, you have to plan ahead. And even like a virtual schedule or even a visual schedule, make sure that it's tangible. And it's okay that things don't always go the way they're planned. At least you have it written down in mind. And it's okay because having a plan keeps you, especially your tasks, consistent, predictable, and manageable. If it's down there, you will actually see it. But I know sometimes it's easier said than done. But even with the support, maybe hiring a sitter. I know when my daughter was going to daycare, some of the teachers wanted to make extra money, so they would babysit my daughter. And I'm figuring like she's with them like 9 hours a day. Who else better to watch her, not raise her, but watch her than her teachers? So if you can hire a sitter, give yourself a break. That way, guess what? You're able to sleep. You're able to run errands, do tasks, something you enjoy. I know how it is when you have like the baby bag, the stroller, and all these other little cutesy things, and you're trying to just say, I just want to run to the store. I just want to get like 2 hours of sleep. Those sitters are phenomenal with that. And again, do not look at yourself as being a bad parent because you're not. You're resetting yourself. And also, we have to listen to our partners. We really do. Sometimes we need certain resources, and maybe, like I said, it could be a family member, friend, or even a fellow parent. But schedule time each week or month to kind of chat and unload as they are your support when it comes to listening. So it's okay to kind of do like a little dump on them. I mean, you're wearing your welcome out. It's okay. But it's another way of trying to, like getting help. Because trust me, most of us know someone who's an excellent listener, and you don't always want feedback. You just want someone to say, look, like I'm tired. And you're like, okay, they may not give you advice, but they just are there like as a sounding board. But another thing is, guess what? You have to learn and practice to say no. It is a complete sentence, No. Our yeses don't always have to mean no for now. It means no. You have to set these healthy boundaries, even with your children. And I know it's hard because it's hard for me, even though my daughter's 14. It is very hard. But take a look at it like this. If setting boundaries with others feel tricky, remember that they don't have to always meet our demands, and we don't have to meet the demands of others. But you don't always have to be a people pleaser, because really it only leads to resentment. You're going to get pissed off even more and more overwhelmed. So it's okay to say no, or no, I'm sorry, I can't do it. However way you want to say it, but it just means no. And we all fall to that. We really do. We falter to that because it's about setting boundaries. And I know sometimes before having children, you may have been that old go-to. But now that you have children or a child, you can't always be the go-to, because again, it's about setting these healthy boundaries and these supports. So it works. But I have to say, right, one thing, like I said, my daughter did not sleep. But one thing she did do was sleep in the car. We would go for a little drive. So when we would go for a drive, I would be like, we were in Pennsylvania, like an open road, and I would open the windows down because she was born in the summer. I would just go for a drive, and it gave her an opportunity to get some fresh air, to kind of get a little 5-minute, 10-minute nap. And it gave me an opportunity to kind of just, kind of like relieve mentally. And it was great for me. And again, she was strapped in. She was great. And I turned on my music, some nice jazz. Or I would just kind of look at the scenery. Because again, when you're going through this, we forget to, like they say, smell the coffee, smell nature. We do. And I had forgotten how, beautiful, especially some of the mountainous areas were. So yes, even if you can go to like a park, go to a park, take a drive, whatever it is. But the most important thing is getting some fresh air, because it is refreshing. And really, guess what? Even on a drive, or even if you get out for a little while, you take a walk, your kids are actually getting a little exercise, and hopefully they'll burn off some energy. And maybe, you never know, play with other kids to kind of give you like a little break too. So there's so many different ways in which, you can actually get a break. But another thing is, I had sticky notes for everything. When I say sticky notes, I had a sticky note for the notes, if that makes any sense. Yes, I had constant reminders, because I know I talked about the whole to-do list and things like that, but I needed some sticky notes. It was on my computer, my phone, my dashboard, my desk at work. I had a sticky note for the sticky notes, like I said. And plus, too, it helped me to kind of sort out. So it was actually like an extra reminder, and it worked for me. Now, again, you have to find what works for you. But aside of all that, even with the sticky notes, put some like positive reinforcements on there, even just to say, you got this, you're great, keep trying, whatever. Like some healthy like mantras that will, like kind of encourage you. even if it's something like a prayer, whatever works for you, because again, it's not an easy task. So make sure you kind of do that. And even with all of this, I have to, say that one thing I did do, two things is, and I didn't mention this before, but I actually had coaching. I had like work-life balance coaching, which that's what I help people with. It's so funny, but not literally, but I needed this one time. I always feel like, when people are therapists or any type of counselors, they have gone through it too. They needed to. So yes, I have work-life balance coaches, and I also have people I can talk to, like my support system. So support system can be like a coach too. They don't always have to be officially a coach. But yes, I went to work-life balance coaching. I went to relationship coaching. I went to life coaching. All of these things because I wanted to help, and I want to see where I can make some changes too. And I have to say, even with me moving forward, like I said, it's been 14 years. My daughter is 14, but I have to say, a lot of those practices that my coaches helped me with, I still do it as well. And I even, I kind of emulated some of it with my clients because it is important. And I know a lot of times people may say, I don't need a coach, I don't need help. But believe me, sometimes you lay down and you don't know how you're going to wake up. Or like I said, your mind is constantly racing. So, like I said, try it. Believe me, I didn't even know what a coach was, okay? I was going through this, and then my coworker actually suggested it, and it was the best thing that I ever did. One of the best things. So it works, okay? Plus, like I said, to kind of refresh. But I hope all this helped. And again, you got this. I am like one of your cheerleaders. And again, you are doing a great job. Let me just leave you with another thing too. Don't listen to what people say. When I say that, when it comes to naysayers, if your child stays up at 10, 11 o'clock, and you can only have those couple of hours to spend with your kid, then do it. Okay? Every kid is not going to go to bed at 8 o'clock. Even if it's a couple of hours that you want to spend time with your kid, do it. Even if you give them cereal sometimes, not a hot meal, you're still a rock star. Even if, I don't care, I'm going to take it there. Even if you're trying to juggle, okay, do I pay my rent? Do I pay my electric bill? Do I pay my gas bill? Do I, my cable's getting cut off? It is okay. Sometimes our backs get against the wall. We are overwhelmed. It is okay. All right. I've had to even say, okay, what am I paying this month? And what should I do? I understand it. All right. So, even like I said, you are still a rock star and you are great. And it's okay to ask for help. Now, until then, of course, my name is Dr. Lamarr Spencer, and I always say, your favorite life alignment strategist. And please, I am on Facebook on Dr. Lamarr Renee Spencer. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Follow me. And I also have a book out, The Depths and Diversity Within Relationships. We talk about all these different types of relationship in the book. It's an anthology. It's on Amazon. And I hope some of these resources can help you out. And if you want to go old school, my telephone number is 973-214-6464. I'm always willing to help. I'm always willing to share resources because, again, I believe in that whole village mentality. So, until further ado, everyone take care and enjoy the rest of your day or evening. Take care.